You are now entering the realm of white hot business. This is where we get real about why what happens in the bedroom and your body is a reflection of your business confidence and visibility. I'm your host, sexologist and business mentor Lauren White, and I'll guide you to become the sovereign, magnetic, and sensual woman that's available for more success and satisfaction. Access all areas. It's time to transform your business from lukewarm to white hot. Healing my thyroid blew up my business. It blew up things for the better, and it detonated a few things in its wake as well. What do I mean by that? I am about to explain. Today you are getting an insider's look at what it's been like having Graves' disease for a long time, unrecognized. And I'm bringing this to you on the podcast because I know a lot of you listening either would have had a thyroid condition at some point or are currently grappling with one. And I use that word grappling purposefully because it's your barometer for your body. It is such a key point of influence for your temperature and your heart rate and your metabolism. And when it goes off kilter, it feels like almost every other system is affected. Now, I want to share with you what my story has been and where I'm at now and the influence that this condition has had, for better or worse, on my business. I first had thyroid issues when I was 20. I developed multinodular goiter that's still with me today. As you will see at the base of my throat, I tend to have a lump. And this goiter is benign. It's just almost like having a cyst that sits there. And it came about from a deeply stressful period in my life where I was studying nursing, doing 4 casual jobs, partying, working out at the gym, trying to look like Jennifer Garner in Alias. I was pining for my ex. I was just doing all the things. And my body started to reflect that, all these things that I was doing. So I've had this goiter for years, and my bloods have shown that my thyroid doesn't drop and slow down. Mine speeds up when I go through stressful periods. And over the years, because my blood work was inconsistent, I was never shown the next step to getting a Graves' disease diagnosis. What would happen is I'd be in a stressful period and my thyroid, my TSH would be below 0.005. It would be saying, look, she's under the pump. That thyroid stimulating hormone has been pumping out. And then I'd get a blood test a month or two later and it'd just be normal. And then those numbers would drop again, which means you're up. This is the very confusing thing about thyroid blood results. Down means up means down. And this would just yo-yo over years until I eventually had 3 blood results in a row that showed that my TSH was really, again, under the pump. And this was all in 2023 when I was going through the renovation. I will say this. Without a shadow of a doubt, I am immensely grateful for what we did. Doing it was incredibly testing. No regrets, but I never ever realized how all-encompassing a renovation was, even when you can live in the house still. That's all I'll say about that. It was just a really hard time, and I was getting the worse I got in terms of the symptoms of Graves, which I'll share with you in a minute. The more stressed I got about those symptoms, the less I could be productive, the more distractions were happening in our house, the less I could think clearly. It was just a melting pot of poor quality focus, or a lack of focus and a lack of clarity. And I was going through these symptoms. Brain fog. When I get flared up, I get a fuzzy and tingly face. Really interesting symptom, right? I get restless. I'm really, really restless. Grounding feels like an impossibility. So take note of that. If you're having a lot of trouble grounding, it's not just, oh, you had a coffee or you had too many coffees. That can be a sign of hyperthyroidism. So your thyroid is up. It's overstimulated. I had grainy, gritty eyes and warped vision and was incredibly light sensitive. My eyes, I could feel pressure, constant pressure behind my eyes, like I'd been staring up close at a screen for hours at a time, even when I hadn't. Like I had this symptom on waking. Lots of palpitations, which I've just been used to over the years. It's like, oh, this is what my heart does. Not normal, common, not normal. Listen to those palpitations. Like I can just be sitting watching TV and I'll have an irregular heartbeat. I'll have palpitations. My heart will just skip a beat. I'll be like, oh, oops. Felt like I was just about to die for a second, but no, I'm okay now. I'm laughing because I'm laughing at how human we are and how wild our blind spots can be when it's our own body, even when you've studied nursing and you know what you know. I also had some slight difficulties swallowing when I wasn't medicated and my thyroid felt like it was just up. My throat felt this strange tightness in it and tension in it that felt energetic and tingly. Not like someone was holding me or I had my hand on my throat. It was this internal sensation. It was really unique. And I'm not sure if that was my mind kind of influencing that one, but it was fascinating. I never felt full or satiated, and loose stools in the morning all day, totally common for me. Interestingly enough, this doesn't happen anymore, but I had excessive sweating until I was about 30 years old. But I attribute that change to the more I knew myself and my identity, the less I used to sweat and be in that nervousness. Like I feel more centered in my identity. So sweating wasn't this thing that happened when I was like, I don't know who I am. How do I hold my body? What do they want to hear? That's not me anymore. And I feel like I don't need to sweat as a sign that I'm overcompensating and literally sweating on how I'm seen by other people. That's interesting, right? But that was a big problem for me. I was always sweaty, always a sweaty person, always had this Vata energy. So look up Vata if you have a body type like me, always been an ectomorph, just always, that's me. And my thyroid played on that in some ways with going into being overstimulated. So where it changed from Lauren experiences bouts of hyperthyroidism to Lauren has Graves' disease is that my GP ordered nuclear imaging for my thyroid in the second half of 2023. Can't remember the date. All I remember is I was vibrating from stress, the stress of business not working at the time, the stress of the renovation. I was like in parenting burnout. I don't talk about being a parent much, but not having any family support on tap I find very taxing. And just constantly tag teaming with Eddie. And just all through the renovation we're all in each other's faces. And I was just like, again, vibrating with stress. And Eddie dropped me off and I ran into the appointment and I just had tears running down during the whole scan of my thyroid, where they could see that my thyroid, the way that it took up the ink that is injected. This is all layman's terms, by the way, the dye that they inject, 5 or 10 minutes before you get the scan, they could tell it was a very, very dark gray. So it wasn't pitch black which is immediately indicative of Graves' disease. It was a very dark grey. And I then needed to see an endocrinologist. My GP didn't feel satisfied medicating me. He wanted me to see a specialist, which I was all for. And I asked someone I know, who's the best endocrinologist in Brisbane? And they said, this person, like, if you can see this person. I call up and I get the email back, we can't see you for 7 months. 7 months. Yes, we've got your blood results. We can't see you for 7 months. And immediately, I want you to hear this. I went, okay, and I'm going to ask again. I'm going to ask again because I need to get in. I cannot sit with this condition for 7 months. I write back and I say, I work for myself. I can be there in half an hour. Can I please be on a wait list, call for cancellations, anything at all? I will make it happen. I get an email, honestly, a day or two later, not long later. Lauren, the doctors reviewed your results. They can see you in a week on a Monday morning at 8. Can you make it? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. And that's when I started neomercazole, an anti-thyroid drug, very, very, very small dose. And I've done that alongside with like upping my lifestyle factors as well and what I know to work for supporting me and my thyroid. And I'll go into that in a minute. But for now, I want to go back to my business. All those symptoms I described further do not make for a sexy business. All those symptoms I described do not make for clarity. None of it was conducive to me being in my power. My power was being leaked on the daily. Like stress was the root cause. And then my power is being leaked by my thyroid just pumping so hard and making my heart pump fast and everything feeling like it needed to be fast. And that made me scatty. I was all over the place. I just, like I said, I could not focus and I was putting stuff out there because I know how to do that. And it just wasn't landing. And I feel really sad for myself and where I was operating from because I was trying despite the conditions not being conducive. And I think that says a lot about me and my spirit and my tenacity. And I know you listening probably have the same qualities. The thing that was happening was I also just had to keep going, like not supporting or fueling my business in some ways just didn't feel like an option. And I knew that even though things weren't good or optimal at all, I just had to keep putting my voice out there because I knew if I stopped, I wasn't going to get any closer to what my voice wanted to be. And while I wasn't well, I experimented with some different messaging. I got some new support on board in the form of my business strategist who gave me some new insights into where the work could go. And that was experimental. That was deeply experimental. And if you look back if you just say you went through my Instagram in 2023, you'll see a lot of experimentation happening and a lot of shifts and a lot of like going almost like simultaneously going back to what I used to talk about in regards to sexuality and moving it forward into a business context as well. And so that time was really hard. It was really hard financially. It was just really hard on every system in my body. And just like I said, made me so sad because I knew I had power and I knew I couldn't exert it. I don't know. I don't know. I do know. I know that resonates. Like I had the power inside, but the channels weren't strong. The currents were not able to be express and flow in the direction that they needed to go. In September, I started that small dose of anti-thyroid medication and then had it slightly reduced again because it was just a little bit too much. I was starting to suppress my actual T4, I think it was, which isn't good. We don't want it to swing from being up to being down. That creates a whole other different set of issues like lethargy. Weirdly enough, I'm going to add this just in case the doctor says that's weird. I don't think it is. Hyperthyroidism makes you tired because you're so up all the time that suddenly you just kind of drop. So I just want to put that out there. It's not always just up all the time. It weirdly can make you lethargic too. And I got the medication in September. I started the work with my business strategist in October, I think, or November, and I had to rebuild. It was my house, it was my health, it was my business, and my ego took a massive fucking hit. And I just had to surrender to that in an incredibly active state. I just had to go, right, what's done is done. Always learning, always willing to expand, always willing to keep going, even if it's painful. And I rebuilt. And I rebuilt and refined and rebuilt and refined and rebuilt. And it was like what was happening in my home was literally gutted underneath and had nothing but scaffolding. My body had to go through that process. My business had to go through that process. It was like, right, clear it out. This hurts. And if I want to hold more for my home, for my body and my business, I have to go through this initiation. It was shit. To put plainly, it was shit. And it's blown up my business for this year because I had to cull, subtract, look at the scaffolding that I didn't want to look at. I had to look at my core wound. I had to look at, why do I have an autoimmune condition? Yes, it's my genes from my paternal side because my dad has ankylosing spondylitis, but it's more than that. What is my relationship to my throat? What is my relationship to money? What is my relationship to my worth? What is my relationship to love? And why do I keep saying love as conditional in my personal life? What is going on? So I have done the hard looking inward, going right back to 5 years old stuff this last year. And it's still a work in progress, and I'm miles ahead of where I was. And I'm getting stronger in spirit, in gumption, in body. I started boxing because I needed something where I could feel powerful and channel new currents through the way I moved. Yes, I love dancing. Boxing makes me a better dancer. Boxing fitness, to be clear, is very precise. It's very masculine. It's quite repetitive. And I just needed that controlled, time-limited space to channel in an incredibly direct way when all my energy was like in the shadows of hyper feminine, just going everywhere, scatty, not focused, indirect, or the opposite of what I was doing in boxing. And I had more sessions with our couples counselor. I just needed so much more support. And that was a big lesson for me as well. Support. So healing my thyroid, I'm happy to announce that for maybe 6 months, I've had quote unquote normal thyroid results. Wow, first time in 20 years, first time. And I have been able to concentrate. I've still got a slightly spicy brain. Yes, I've had I've gone through the assessment for ADHD, and there is something there, which I will talk about another time. I want to do that justice. For now, yes, I have a very special brain, but I've been able to focus so much more. I have been able to put really clear offerings out into the world, have them be heard, received, successful, to continue that support, which I am invested in for the long run. And it was a multi-pronged approach. I've also been clearer in my throat this year than I have ever been, I would say. I know what I'm here to do. I know how I'm here to say it. I know what needs to be received in this world. If I wrote a book now, I know what it would be about. If I did a TED Talk now, I know what I would say. And I feel for the Lauren exactly 1 year ago recording this, who was trying to put out offers now that are being taken up now. So I want you to know nothing is wasted. There's always an opportunity to learn and refine, always. There's nothing learned from completely stopping if your heart wants to keep going. If there's something in you that's like, no, I know this message needs to be out there and there is no current system or entity that can convey this message, I need it to be my business. I trust this gives you some extra activation to look after you, to look after your condition, to take the extra steps that are right for you. And for me, I said I'd share this with you. For me, it was sticking with my animal-based diet, which I absolutely adore. It was really, really slowing down with the champagne. I deeply love the taste and experience of champagne, and I needed to make it more once in a while. So I might have a couple of drinks once every 3 weeks now. Sometimes it's every month. Sometimes I go for 6 weeks. So I'm just having longer periods because alcohol is really, for me, the most preventative thing I can ingest, the thing that prevents me from really healing my thyroid and nurturing my thyroid, because alcohol is a toxin, as we know. So it was regular exercise. It was like that turns me on. It was just watching the coffee. It's all those things. And it's a little bit boring in some ways, but also I really love the clarity I get through my body and goosebumps when I'm in my power. And I just only need to come to that when I feel that temptation. And refined sugar is also a bit of a trigger for me as well. So I've got it all there now. And I know when I'm in a flare-up, and my flare-ups start, I can feel that tingly face. I can feel my eyes get a bit gritty. And I say to myself, thank you for showing me where I've overextended. Thank you for showing me where I can slow down or where I can rest when I was just going too fast. I love to go fast. There's a lot of power in it for me. There's a lot of pleasure in it for me. And there are times where it's like, slow it down so that you can keep going fast, Lauren. Slow it down. I'll never not be fast. That's just not me. So I own that. And I need to know just when pauses are powerful so that I can be in an energetic surge and put quality high touch offerings out there that women love and absolutely transform from. So yes, healing my thyroid blew up my business in the best possible way. I've had great growth this year and there's more coming. And now I know that a stable thyroid is my standard and I'm going to maintain that. I am committed. I am devoted. I'm committed to listening to my flare-ups and to responding to them. I'm committed to knowing when I'm being scatty and when I'm in my power and centered and turned on, and over and over and over again. This is not a one and done. So thank you, thyroid, for taking me back to the scaffolding, for being my barometer, for showing me where things could be even better because I couldn't do it from that ungrounded place. And now I can. And if you're listening, whether you're experiencing symptoms of Hashimoto's, symptoms of Graves, or just general, which are the autoimmune conditions of your thyroid, too much up, too much down, or you're experiencing blips in your bloods where you're going too far up or too far down, please pay attention, stay persistent, get all the support you can in your business and your health. Health first, if it's a choice, health first, because nothing's going to benefit from your business if your health isn't steady. I'm excited for you. Whatever climax you've had in your life, in your body, in your business, just know when you heal, a bigger one, an even bigger, better, juicier, deeper one is coming. I hope you get the help and the support that you need and the patience to keep going with your business, with your health. Nothing is more important. And at the root of it all is your stress. That is what is at the root of it all, is your stress, no matter what the autoimmune condition is. So listen hard, take notice, and know when you do the boring stuff on repeat, you get the big sensations that the quick hits of dopamine just can't give you. They can't. You can hold it, and you can hold more when you are well, when you go through a healing process. Today's episode has been all about healing the throat on a physiological level. And now you get to heal even deeper. My Power and Pleasure Retreat is here for the red-blooded women in business who are yearning to cross their own threshold into new, expansive terrain. This is the 3-night immersion in ultimate luxury to release control, reclaim your power, and revolutionize your pleasure so that you are seen, heard, and revered as the red-blooded woman and authority that you are. This is more than an invitation. This is an initiation to set a radically new standard for yourself, your voice, and your business by going deep so you can climax higher. Because I know you want to be expanded in your business and beyond. And to make expansion happen, you have to do something expansive. If you're feeling the pull for more of yourself, go straight to laurenwhite.com.au/retreat to claim all the details and secure your place on my upcoming intimate retreat for women in business.